Keris, it is not just a melee weapon, it is an identity, symbolic, strength, and the hierarchy of the owner. Keris are a very special weapon, starting from the carving of hulu into the shaping of the keris. All of this only in one single weapon hold its own beauty and strength together. Keris is one of the legacy weapon being used by our people. It is a treasure we need to remember. It is a history we need to keep forever. It is a legacy we need to preserve even in the future. Begin with the history. Keris was originally come from Java during Javanese Hindu-Buddhist era. It was short, broad, and asymmetrical dagger used as thrusting weapon for fighting, while modern keris we see today is longer, narrow, asymmetrical, and is designed either straight or with look, a wavy shape along the keris blade. Keris is designated with 2 to 3 types of metal, which are baja, tawa, and malela. The making of hulu is using the timber, which have a beautiful grain and high strength. Usually kuming emas is being used for that purpose. Then, the usage of arsenic poison taking place for warang process to highlight pamor, which is the pattern on the keris. Other basic equipment needed such as hammers, tongs, anvil, grinder, relau, and also chisel. For the keris making process, the empu keris will forge 2 or 3 type of irons, which are baja, tawa, and malela until it become one solid layer. Then the empu keris will cut the solid layer depending on the desired length using penangi. After that, the empu keris will start to mold the lock on the keris blade, detailed out by carving the alor, mata, akut, and kerawang. Last but not least, the keris blade will be soaked in the acidic water mixture called warang process. For the sheath, the outline shape will be drawn on a timber block. The empu keris will cut the block and smooth the edges. Finally, after all done, there will be a hole underneath the hulu to be attached to the keris blade. Then it will become a complete keris. In the making of keris blade, relau is an important equipment. It melts the layers of iron to ease the process of shaping keris with the use of hammers and tongs. For hulu, carving techniques is needed by using the tools like knife and chisel. To keep the keris, it should be kept in higher place to avoid accident from happening. It also should be placed in a space with low humidity to avoid rusty, thus warang process, thus make it last longer from rusty. Making keris do have some taboo to avoid defect or damage on keris, especially when receive iron from suppliers. It needs to be kept in dry area and not exposed to the sunlight, as well as for the next process. But most important is when the warang process take place, that area should be isolated as it take few days to dry, and never touch the keris with the fingers without purpose, as it makes the keris rust easily.
Next to Mahalah Bilal IIUM Gombak, the inventory and analysis of the site was done to look for potential and opportunities of the site for the proposed design for Art Craft Center of Keris. Group members who in charge for the site inventory and analysis went to the site to collect all information regarding of the site, taking videos and photos for the video presentation and board purposes. The most important is deciding the proposed site for the building. Near to Jalan Pusu, the site is located in Gombak, Selangor. It is an enclosed area beside of Jalan Pusu. The area of the site is 2,000 square meter with the dimensions of 40 meter times by 50 meter, surrounded by many trees, and only has an access to the site which is from Jalan Sungai Pusu. Section Y2 shows the site scenery when entering the site through the entrance, while section Y1 shows the view towards the entrance from the site. The entrance can be seen through the gap between the trees. Section X2 can be seen by a slope on one side of the site. Same goes with the section of X1. Sensory, the site is mostly blessed with nature sounds comes from surrounding nature of the site. Meanwhile, vehicle sound can be heard from the existing road on the west side. Surrounded trees provide good smell for the site, while the nearby road might provide bad smell of car's exhaust. The view of the surrounding trees give a sense of calming when you come into the site. For the climate, the wind direction comes from the north and the northwest of the site. The area at the site has a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius and a minimum of 24 degrees Celsius. The annual average temperature in the year of 2020 is around 28.4 degrees Celsius. For the rainfall precipitation, most amount of average rainfall precipitation was in November with 724.5 mm. The lowest was in February with an average 113.5 mm. An annual average rainfall precipitation was 430.27 mm. The highest wind speed was in October with 8.4 km per hour, and the lowest was in February with 5.8 km per hour. The average gust speed was the highest in September with a speed of 7.4 km per hour. Throughout the year, the average wind speed recorded was 4.1 km per hour. For the climate, 75% of humidity recorded on February, which is the lowest, while the highest was happened in November with 86% of humidity, and the average relative humidity from all months was around 80%. The site can be reached from 3 routes. The first one is from IIUM Gombak, which only takes 3 minutes or 1.6 km distance to reach the site. The second one is from LRT Gombak. It took only 9 minutes to arrive at the site. While the last one is from Plaza Tul Gombak with only 7.5 km and take around 10 minutes to reach the site. Natural features that exist within the site are mostly sandy soil and many types of trees such as Tetrameles nudiflora, Ricinus communis, Spondius mombin, Bidens pilosa, and Pueraria. Meanwhile, for main features, there are drainage, street lamps, road, and electrical switchboard. Dusun Ali King Paintball, Gombak Horse Riding Club, IIUM Gombak, UniKL BMI, Kampung Sungai Pusu, and Bukit Tabu are the neighborhood contexts that can be found within the site area. Within the Gombak area, about 51% of people are males, with the locals dominating the population with 92% of people in Gombak. Islam is the main religion within the site area. Teenagers and adults seems to be the most age range live inside Gombak. As Gombak have many institutions, center and job scope for the workers, it can be concluded that Malays are the majority people who live inside the Gombak area, followed by the Chinese. Now, let's take a look on SWOT for the site. The strength of Site A are, it has a variety of trees which provide fresh air and good wind speed. It is placed near school district and easy to access for public transport. For the weaknesses, the humidity at Site A is high. Secondly, it is located near main road. And thirdly, it has hidden access, especially for tourists and visitors. Next, the opportunities that can be benefited from the site are, it can be a place of tourist attraction, good nature setting for the building, and opportunity to apply good ventilation system for the building and the workshops. Meanwhile, threats that may occur here are landslide and threat from wild animals and insects. Moving on to the President Studies, 3 buildings with the same typologies was chosen to be analysis. The first President Study is Art and Craft Studios located at Seosansi, South Korea. This building was designed by Poli M. Yor with a total area of 3,802 square meter, built at 2012. The building concept is by eliminating 3 layers of linear volumes to maximize and utilize 3 different views of the site. The second President Study is the Factory Contemporary Art Center located at Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. The architect is Juan Tran Aki Pizzini with the area of 880 meters square. This building once was an existing warehouse and then was changed to Art Center in 2017. And the last President Study is Singkawang Cultural Center located at Singkawang, West Kalimantan, Indonesia. It was designed by PHL Architects in 2017 with the area of 1,972 meters square. This building was originally an existing old inactive cinema and then was changed to a cultural center. Now, moving on to the final section, which is the synthesis. Starting with the site synthesis, the first one is existing trees will be remained for natural shade to avoid the direct sunlight. Secondly, to build fences to prevent the threat from wild animals. And the third one is orienting the building opening towards the northwest to catch breeze and maximize ventilation. Next, the synthesis for the cases and precedent studies. The recommended space of accommodation consists of lobby, exhibition area, metal workshop, timber workshop, administration office, storage room, shops, toilet, services room and musola. The other syntheses are the exhibition space should be near to the entrance. The workshop must be semi-open for ventilation and natural lighting and must be shaded and dry. Next, the workshop and exhibition space needs storage rooms. The workshop must provide artificial lighting for work that requires detailing and focus. Then, it must have well-controlled storage rooms to store currents and materials. Good circulation in workshop are required by placing the machines and tools according to the workflow to minimize the accident. Last but not least is to provide office in workshop and need to have 2 workshops which are metal and timber workshops.
A bit story about our client brother Iwan. Keris Empire is handled by him, located at Kuala Kangsar, Perak. He is a designer of the Keris at this shop. During the Google Meet meeting, we asked him what would he want to achieve or hope to improve in future regarding the Keris workshop and the interest of the teenagers, especially towards the Keris. Here is the answer by him.
Maka dia kata, macam dia cakap tadi lah, kita sebagai generasi muda ni, kalau boleh jangan terlampau kolotkan fikiran dan jangan terlampau nak mengagungkan bangsa lain. Saya sendiri pun, saya pun bukan je tak suka pakai cap, kasut sneakers ke, jeans ke kan. Gila tak suka style pun kan. Tapi janganlah sampai kita nak terlampau maju, sampai kita nak buang asal-usul jati diri kita. Sebab kita orang Melayu ni boleh katakan antara bangsa yang dapat rahmat Tuhan yang cukup-cukup banyak lah. Kita bangsa Melayu ni antara bangsa yang terima Islam tanpa perang.
Gotta